Can you imagine a morning without a warm shower? How about a hot cup of coffee? Flowing water from our faucets, or even the flush of a toilet may not be seen as the modern miracles they once were. But where would we be today without these advancements and day-to-day luxuries? Behind the scenes, men and women in the civil engineering field are dedicating their careers to keep the construction, operation, and maintenance of our American infrastructure humming.
To me, an engineer is the application of science. We solve problems in order to improve the living environment for cities, primarily. So it's quite a broad field. There's shred outs where you have structural engineers, you have roadway engineers, you have water resource engineers, environmental engineering. Those are all pieces of civil engineering. But when it comes down to it, civil engineers are the primary field involved in the designing and building of your cities.
On the average, we treat over 100,000 gallons of wastewater a day. That will peak out to somewhere over 110 million gallons a day. We're the silent utility. Nobody really knows or sees our product. They flush a toilet, turn on a faucet, and things go away. No one really understands where those things go, so it's up to the civil engineer to design those systems so they don't have any overflows or backups. At that point in time, you'd have contamination situations that would be extremely tough to deal with and costly.
Computer power has definitely advanced in the last couple of years, and it continues to grow. And it's definitely been used in civil engineering. Civil engineering is one of the basics of the engineering since before Roman times. Gotta get the water in, gotta get it out. And as the advancements come along, we're able to use the virtual reality, the augmented reality, 3D modeling, a lot more modeling in SIM just because the computers are a lot more capable of running those programs. It makes your models and your design a little bit more complex, but we are able to then identify some of the potential issues prior to taking the design into the field.
When I drive by a building that I've worked on, it usually reminds me of all the work that went into it, all that work that is hidden, the work that we've done, the teamwork, the group of people that went into trying to make sure it works. It's not just civil engineering, but you also have a lot of mechanical, electrical, all the different engineering disciplines that are out there that are often working on those kind of jobs. That's usually what I think a lot of people miss about engineering is what goes into making that facility so it'll work for its customers.
Looking in the civil engineering field, there's numerous different disciplines you can focus on. Anything from transportation to infrastructure, structural design, wastewater management. There's just so many things out there that you can do as a civil engineer. Combining that with all the technology that's come out recently, anything from using drones to ground penetrating radar, and coupling that with the history of engineering, we're still using equations that guys like Bernoulli and Newton gave us. So there's a combination of everything old, everything that works with everything that's new.
We started back in 2009 during the recession. Brian and I talked about it, and we just saw companies were failing. They weren't pivoting to the environment. They're just kind of waiting for the recession to be over. It wasn't happening, so we decided we could do better. We quit our jobs, and both were told we were pretty crazy. Started up this company, just him and I, and we eventually hired one designer. But what we decided to bring to the table as we grow is we could handpick those employees that they're go-getters, they're free thinkers, forward thinkers. You can't be a checklist type person and work for a small company. So we were able to handpick some really good people, especially during the recession, because a lot of good people were out of work. So it was a perfect time to start a civil engineering company, and we could focus on that technology. We could focus on the clients that we wanted to go after. You weren't just a number in a big company watching the management not change and all the bureaucracy that's included. We could move fast, we could get work out, we could pick really interesting projects.
For S&B Chris Consulting, we really emphasize augmented and virtual reality for implementing design because we can reduce errors, we can reduce the number of RFIs from contractors, we can provide better designs, we can communicate more effectively with clients. All of those things improve the interaction and the relationship that we have with clients. We're building a relationship when we work with someone. From a business standpoint, we want repeat business. But from an engineering standpoint, I also have liability, both personal and as a business, that I need to manage. So I can't, out of public safety and public interest, design something that isn't going to last.
Especially when you're a public agency and the facilities you build are going to be scrutinized on the cost. So you want to get the most practical facility for the least cost that you can get that has the expandability that you need.
Everybody out here has to do a little bit of everything. You're definitely not doing cookie cutter projects. You're not doing the same thing over and over. Every job I get is something new.
As our population grows and as we become more urban, it becomes even more complicated. How do I get rid of waste? Las Vegas is a perfect example of where the population can fluctuate significantly. So how do you account for that? And so one of the things we as civil engineers like to do is to try and figure out how to solve those problems and how to do that in an environmentally sustainable way so that we're leaving it for our children and grandchildren a better place than we found.
We want to stay a small business. I don't want to lose my culture. I don't want to lose the ability to talk to my people every day because they're the ones, as I hire younger people that are coming in with the new technologies. So sitting behind a desk doing the projects, you're not necessarily catching on, but you bring young people in. It's the people that are bringing in the technology and pushing us to keep going, making it better, more efficient, and improving society in a whole.
S&B Crist Consulting, supplying your design and engineered success. For more information, visit sbchristconsulting.com.